Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, Deku and Marcy have met back up and exchanged some information, and it was quite troubling. Deku was active for a month, but apparently, for about 2.5, almost 3 months, he was stuck as a mutated creature. Marcy, she remembers being active for 2 months before her memory blanks and she's here in this cave. And that was not good. Her and Chloe were together out there, but they were ambushed. She doesn't know how to properly describe it. Her memory gets fuzzy and kind of ends there. That's all she remembers. The Enclave came directly to the mine because they were searching in the nearby area for any signs the massive scorch beast could be here. And it eventually ended with Deku and Marcy leaving together. They flew out of the cave ceiling and Marcy, she screamed at the vertibird. She was able to damage one of its engines and send it going tumbling down to crash. However, she could not tame her flight for very long. Eventually, Deku and her had to land. And then they made their way to Vault 22 to try and find information. If not, anything they can use to fix their Pip-Boys. And Marcy, she wanted at least some form of clothing. The cloak Deku has been lending her, it works for right now. But it is not going to be a permanent solution. Now, the two searched the vaults. Deku found a flamethrower. Marcy found vault suits. They also found what appeared to be the mutated residents of this vault, and the only greenery they've ever seen in the Wasteland. Now, this annoyed them, and they had to make a bit of a decision. Living out in the Wasteland is harsh. There are a lot of people after Marcy, if not the Scorch Beast. There is a bounty on her from the NCR, the Legion are after Izuku, the Enclave is after both of them, and they're not even too sure if they can really trust anybody who isn't each other. So, they made a decision. They know some people they are able to tolerate, and some who they can give at least a bit of breathing room to. But yeah, one wrong move, they're it. They're done for. They are dead. That's how life is out in the Wasteland. It's how life is now. And that meant quite a lot. They need to get onto the strip. See if potentially there's any information at Vault 21. I mean, Tommy and Chloe, they could be there. They could be fucking anywhere out in the waste and they don't know. But Izuku, he had another idea. He fought at the Thorn once and got paid for it. And another thing he can do is make a reputation. If someone hears about a mutant fighter at the Thorn taking on dangerous creatures, and it being something that you can see, I mean, you need to see that with your own eyes to believe it, right? Imagine the tales. This guy who can take on anything. I mean, it could just be me, but I'd want to see some psycho try and fight a Deathclaw with his bare hands. And if he fucking won, yeah, I might be out of some pretty good money. Now, with that all being said, let's currently pick up with Deku. Deku, he does stand there as the gate does get to open. And he does have a lot going through his mind and going through his veins. He is itching for a fight. The animalistic part of himself has become more apparent. He doesn't know what time it is. Hell, he might have even forgotten the goddamn day. But all he knows is, this is going to be his fourth fight today. Him stepping out and bringing up his hands. And people, they do just stare down at them. Currently, Izuku, with his arms wrapped up in bandage as he does, gonna stand there. People seeing a 7-foot tall man who does have the mutated features on him. The horns, the spikes on his back, and, from what they can tell, even a tail. And this, it does intrigue all of them. Deku throwing his hands up and going to let out a loud roar. And people, they do to stare at this. And there is Marcy, who does go to look down into the arena and see Deku. Currently, him going to bare his teeth, and people do to see it. As right now there is with the other fence, it does being open. And Lucy does get to introduce the challenger for the night. Since the warrior down below has gone undefeated for a number of days. And currently, Deku does a turn, seeing 3 giant rat scorpions. And this, it definitely does have him highly intrigued, as currently he does a fully turn and go to somewhat bend down. Currently, everyone watching his strange stance. And the scorpions, they do begin to charge. They are 2 and then 1 behind. However, as the creature does going to move forwards, they do try to all make their way at him, ready to attack. And Izuku, whenever one does a throw its stinger out towards him, he does go to jump backwards. Currently, him throwing his hand out and slashing into the stinger. Him going to slash at it with his claws before he does go to step forwards. Currently, him stepping onto the scorpion and then going to turn before he's going to throw his leg down and spin his arm around. Currently, locking around the tail and then going to swing it. Currently, him throwing it over his head before he's going to turn. One of the scorpions going to charge at him and the other stinger out, hitting him directly in the back before Izuku. He does a kick it right in the eyes. Turning and then going to move forwards, bringing his hand over his head and smashing it down. And the scorpion, it does begin to scream. The other scorpion throwing out its tail as it does go to stab directly into Izuku's arm, throwing out one of its arms and going to begin pinching into Deku's leg before he is a turn. Currently, him going to throw his hand down and smash it in the face before going to turn, bring his other hand up and going to grab at one of the legs of the scorpion before he's going to rip it off. Now, the scorpion does a scream out. Currently, it's trying to back away before Izuku does a turn. And the one he did stun, it is currently trying to attack wildly. It slashing out and throwing around its arms. As the third one he threw across the arena, it has finally been able to get to his feet. And Izuku does a turn. Currently, him feeling the psycho in his veins along with the jet he took. And he feels great. He feels like he's on top of the world. Him rushing forwards, bringing his hands over his head and slamming it down to the scorpion. For the stinger, it is a come down. Him looking up and dodging with his head before bringing his hand up and then going to smash one foot onto the creature and then pull. Currently, Deku ripping off the scorpion stinger at the base of the tail. For turning and looking back towards the injured one. It going to try and attack Deku. Him battering it away with his tail like bat. Before he is going to move in and then going to jump up. Currently, him grabbing the stinger and then going to smash this thing down into the head of the scorpion. As it does begin to somewhat convulse and twitch. And there is actually the third scorpion. Izuku sitting there, huffing and puffing, along with beginning to feel the blood pouring down his back. Though he does a turn. Currently, him bringing his hand up and staring at the creature, which does go to aggressively rush him. Currently, him going to move forwards as the creature, it does go to throw its stinger. Deku trying to evade the attack before it does throw out its left talon. It going to hit Deku with its pincher and then begin to try and clamp down onto him. Get a hold of him and make sure he can't go anywhere. And Deku, he does begin to feel this pressure down on his right arm. However, he does continue to try and force this thing to let go, twisting his arm more and more. The other pincher coming up and directly smashing into Deku's thigh. It beginning to apply more and more pressure before it does bring his stinger down and try and stab Izuku. Him bringing his hand up and going to be able to grab the stinger. Him holding it back as people, they're cheering. watching this guy who's been down there for hours begin to slow down. And this doesn't look too good. And Marcy thinks that the venom in his veins is catching up with him. Hell, he had to fight a Cassador earlier, and that wasn't good. And right now it's wearing down his stamina. The Wazuku, he does mean to push back. Currently, him going to push more and more and more. Before he does, going to let go of the stinger and throw it by the side of his head. Currently, it smashing into the wall before Izuku doesn't move forwards, bringing his hand up and grabbing at the scorpion, throwing it, and beginning to tear off part of its tail. The thing screaming out as it releases its grip. And Deku, he doesn't let up. Currently, him bringing his hand up and going to shove it back. The thing immediately going to retreat as Deku, he has a lunge forwards and smash his fist down with all his might into the ground. Currently, it's still on the retreat. Before he does, gonna move forwards on all fours, leaping at the creature and going to directly smash it in the body. Before people do watch this thing explode into a bloody mess, when Rizuku beats into it and continues to rip it apart. Him sitting there, smashing his fist down into what's left of the gore. And the creature, its body does lay there, severely damaged and mangled. Before he's gonna hear the cheering and turn. Right now, him looking around as Lucy does gonna bring her hands up, announcing that that was the final battle of the night, and that the champion will be retiring. All bets have been made, and the battle has come to an end. Those unsatisfied may try again tomorrow, or may even see what they will test against him tomorrow. And this does mean quite a bit. Deku going to stand, but doing so very weakly. Him having to lean on the wall for a bit of support. Before he does, gonna bring his hand down and gonna grab something from inside his pocket, stabbing it into his leg and beginning to feel the stim pack work its magic. And this does mean a bit. Deku beginning to somewhat walk back to his area. Right now, him gonna take a seat and just try and rest. There's a lot happening down here. A lot that's yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good indeed. Ham's sitting there, currently sitting against the wall and just trying to let his body recover. The poison should pass from his system in a few minutes. God, it's gonna suck, but he needs to go find some anti-venom. But even then, this shit's gonna burn. Okay. Just ignore it. You're fine. You're fine. This is going through his mind. Before he's a turn hearing something. And Lucy, she has come climbing down the ladder, expressing about how it has been quite intriguing. What do you want? I just wish to talk to you. You are of intriguing nature. You're a good warrior. Has anyone ever told you that? I've heard a few things about me. I've been called a number of things, but never a warrior. You are. You fight ferociously. Your own survival on the line. Does it not thrill you? I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Honestly. I'm just a little... My mind's a little fried right now. I don't blame you. I guess you can't, really. Especially after all that. It's been a long day. Alright, I just want to take some Med-X, lay down, and sleep. You gonna pay me? Of course. Of course. Her going to walk over. Before she does, gonna pull out a bag of caps. Holding it up for Izuku, he has to reach for it. Her going to pull it back and then go to fall onto one knee, on Izuku's level, expressing, holding the bag out. He is to rest. Does he know this? I'll be fine. It's. It's. You're delirious. You know this, correct? Along with that, her bring her hand out, currently opening Deku's eyes completely, talking about how he has been taking too many chems. If he does take many more, then it will affect him in the ring. Does he understand this? I'm fine. You're not my fucking keeper. I'm not. However, I'm advising you. To have a sharp mind, you must be clear-headed. Survival sometimes does fall back on this. There's a little extra in there for you. From me. Use it to buy fixer and food. And then rest. Do you understand this, Hunter? Izuku. Do you understand this, Izuku? Her going to have Deku reach for the bag and grab it. Bring her hand up and going to inspect one of the places where Deku, he's suffered numerous cuts today. The area is already healing over and scarring on his arm. It's a little nasty, but he's okay. It's definitely gonna be an interesting trophy later. Though she has to express, he needs to rest if he is going to challenge something in the Thorn properly. I'll be fine. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. No, you are not. You've killed a number of our beast. There is only one thing left. Well, a few things. However, I believe you need to be properly healed before you should face them. Take time, Hunter. Every beast needs its rest. Her going to bring her hand up. Right now, bring it to Izuku's face, talking about it. All creatures need their rest. If he'll have it, then take it. That is how things happen. Creatures survive. They fight. They heal. It is the way of things. Right now is the time to heal. And Deku, he does get to move. Currently, him getting to his feet as Lucy does get to tell him on his way off that Castadors or Deathclaws, which one does he think he could face? I'll think about it. Think hard. Goodbye, Hunter. Deku going to leave. And there actually is Marcy. Marcy, she doesn't like this place. It's a little barbaric. Not what she expected. I mean, people go down there and face off against creatures of the Wasteland. It's strategically and, well, it's a good idea whenever you think about it. I mean, really sit down and think about it. This place could eventually be where they bring people from their vaults and show off the danger, show off these creatures. I mean, these people have trained Deathclaws. Well, I mean, trained is a apt word. They have creatures here. It's intriguing and a little scary. If a bunch of people in the Wasteland are capable of doing this, that means even the Legion could do it. And it might not even be as hard as I think it is. We do currently have Izuku. He does come walking up asking her if she's ready to leave. I am, yes. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'll be okay. I got money. You did? Yeah, you her holding out Deku's gun before expressing that if he's gonna be using that gun, then at least make sure he's keeping it loaded. It was loaded earlier, though I had an encounter with a bit of a fiend. He wanted to play tricks and be a bit of a dick. What do you do? Try to give you tips in your golf game? No. I blew his fucking head off. Some dickhead junkie. He had a fucking golf club. Can you believe that? I can actually. Listen, you and I need to leave. We've only been here for too long. No, we haven't. Do you know what day it is, Izuku? 106. No, no, try again. Try and guess how long we've been here in Westside. And I'll tell you if you're on the money or not. 108? 120. Seriously? Yeah, we've been here for almost 3 months. And in that time, we've lived across from a brothel, you fight, and you get high. You just shoot up and want to keep fighting. If Tommy or Chloe would have come to us, they would have come by now. You always just say one more week. Maybe just one more week. Who knows? We'll find somebody. They'll come by eventually. They haven't come by. It has been 76 days, and no one has come looking for us. All right? I get it. Just listen. I need a doctor for some help. Fine. How many caps did you get today? Well, after what, the few stim packs I might need to buy, the fixer I need to buy, or, well, Lucy's paying for that, I guess. So that's good. Then, she's buying you a fixer? Fucking finally. You actually gonna take it, or are you just gonna pawn it off? Hey, I know what fixer does, alright? I'm gonna talk to a doctor and just heal up. Besides, I need the psycho. Do you? Or do you just like it? We can use these powers of ours. These fucking... The things they did to us weren't good, but we got some perks out of it, alright? I've been trying to figure this out myself, and I think I've got something, but I don't like it. Still hurts? Yeah, it does. Hurts a lot. Deku, going to turn. Going to pull some medics out of his bag. And Marcy does a turn, staring at the needle. Currently, her grabbing it from Izuku and going to inject it into her arm. Before she does go to bring her hand up and then begin to somewhat stretch. Feeling how it does, well, the pain does somewhat fade. And Deku, he doesn't see that. Talking about what they're going to do. They can collect their things and tomorrow morning leave. Does that sound perfectly fine and reasonable? It does. We can agree on that. Good. I don't know why you're trying to argue with me. I'm trying to argue. We said 1 month, then it was 2, and then we found nothing. Do you have any idea where we could even look for Marcy? Marcy, just let me explain. No, you don't need to explain. We're trying to find our allies. As far as we know, Chloe could be dead in a ditch somewhere, and Tommy, who the fuck knows where he could be? I get it. They're survivors like us. survivors. Really. Tommy, he's an idiot. He might be smart. He might try to do whatever he can, but he's not. The fact that he might be alive is just dumb luck. Alright? Chloe, I see she can survive. I know she can. She can defend herself if push does come to shove. Okay, good. Listen, we can ask around. Maybe figure it out. I mean, the two beginning to walk, talking a bit more about it. There's been a few ideas as to what can happen. A few things that can be locations. Locations that could be safe houses, places you wouldn't look, places you wouldn't think to look. Going outside of the box. It's how they were taught. I mean, hell. They know how to survive in the desert. All of them do. Though it's a matter of doing what you might need to survive. That's the harder part. And Deku, he has a number of things in his mind. Currently, him laying down in their apartment and thinking about what to do. Right now, he does feel his fatigue setting in. He feels a lot happening. He does somewhat lay there. Right now, him making a strange noise while Marcy does currently sit there, holding onto the sniper rifle and staring at the door. A little paranoid that it could be kicked in. Here comes the NCR, ready to take back what they need to. Take their revenge and kill the monster! Kill the monster! That's going through her mind. However, she does begin to hear a strange noise, turning and looking at Deku, who right now does somewhat lay there as he does slightly shake. Her concerned. Her a bit worried. However, after a minute, Deku, he does begin to stop. Right now, him laying still, and they're going to make another strange noise. Before he has to roll over and Marcy does to see that he is asleep. Right now, however, he is dead tired. I mean, hell. He's probably going through withdrawals again. Though with all that damage piled on, yeah, he's too tired to care. And it does have her concerned. She needs him clear-headed. She needs him at his best. They both need to be at their best. But I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong. Currently, her looking at her Pip-Boy and going over some information that she doesn't know. I mean, there's a lot of places that they can go. Her and Chloe were traveling, and then they were on this road. What road was it? The road. And then there's this feeling. She remembers a little bit more. She knows there was a town. They walked past a highway. They saw these giant statues. That's right. But they never went up that way. They went right and went down the road. There was a town. There was a town. Um. No. They had a new sheriff. Uh. The sheriff of no. Prim. That's right. Prim Slim was a sheriff. Okay, no. That's good. Currently, her writing these down in the notes of her Pip-Boy. Since this information, it's good. It's something she remembers. Her and Chloe got separated on their way when they went past Prim. That's great. But what happens after that? Her trying her hardest to remember. And we do have a few hours later. She does begin to see the sun creeping overhead. And right now, Deku, he does go to sit up after she decided to wake him up. Currently, her asking him if he's alright. Fine. I feel a bit better, but what about you? Sure you don't need to sleep later? I'll be okay. Though, I went over a lot of things in my head. More information? Do you know if there's a place called Prim? Prim. Uh, give me a second. Give me a second. Prim. I don't know where that's at, no. Are you sure? I don't think so. I mean, give me a minute to wake up, and then I'll let you know. Though we can ask about it. We're heading to a medical clinic. Hell, doctor's probably seen all types of people. Plus, they gotta get their supplies from somewhere, right? Traveling caravans? That's my same thoughts exactly. So that means the doctor probably knows something. That's good. I know. So, let's get going. The two packing up their bags and going to leave. And right now they do make their way down the road. Deku's Pip-Boy letting out a bit of song as he does this one sing it. That jingle, jangle, jingle. I got the spurs. And Deku, he does continue. Mercy, a little annoyed. However, she doesn't see the way Deku's acting. He's trying to keep his mind preoccupied. His head is constantly on a swivel. He's got his rifle at the ready. And she can't blame him. Right now, she's trying to keep her own head the same way. And hopefully, that means it stays attached to her body. Hell, she remembers seeing a fiend. They were just standing there with a few others. She took the shot, and their head just exploded. The others just freaked the fuck out and ran. Honestly, it was a little surprising. At a long enough distance, you don't even hear the shot. She knows that much. She's pretty well versed in firearms, though she's also concerned. Right now, her going to stop. And there's our Deku and her. They do stand on the road. As right now, there is some fiends who do stand there. And the two, they do look at each other. Before Marcy does ask him exactly what they should do. We got grenades. They haven't seen us yet. Probably too buzzed out of their mind. Pot, meat, kettle. Oh, shut up. No, I'm serious. Look at them. Hell, I think that guy's screaming at something. Then I'm staring at one of the fiends. Before they do that, turn and suddenly see them. And the person, they do hold up their laser weapon, currently going to fire at Deku and Marcy. And the two, they both do begin to fire. Currently, Deku stepping forwards and beginning to fire his assault carbine. Now, Marcy, she's going to take aim. Currently, her going to hit two of the fiends in the chest, while Zuko, he does go to aim for body shots. Right now, him hitting someone twice in the chest as a bullet is flying past him. And this is where he has a turn. Right now, him aiming the weapon as it is a click. Him confused and surprised. Before he's to switch over to his sidearm. Currently bringing it up and aiming. And the fiend, they're rushing towards him. Deku going to fire two shots towards them and hitting them in the face. Them flying towards him and going limp. Currently smashing into the ground. As Deku does a turn. Currently him firing out another shot at another fiend, it being sent out and smashing them in their arm. Them going to scream out in pain before Izuku does a turn. Him firing another shot as Marcy does get a reload. Deku opening the cylinder and having the bullets come dropping out of it. Before he does, being to load the shots in and then go to flick it closed. For aiming back up and moving forwards. Currently him blasting the fiend he hit in the arm away before turning and aiming at another fiend. Him shooting it directly in the chest, presumably hitting them in the heart. And the group of fiends, they're down. Deku going to sit there before he doesn't twirl his gun with his finger, before he is to holster it. And Marcy does walk up talking about it. You know, he's showing off a little bit. Come on, having a little fun. You're crazy, you know that? I know. Though, look around us. Tell me exactly what looks normal. I guess you're right. Though what should we do about them? I'll leave them. We can't really bury them. Though if they had anything good on them, let's check. Him walking over, finding a switchblade, some caps, some empty chem containers, and that's it on this one. Marcy walking over and finding a combat knife, along with a laser weapon that looks like a submachine gun. And this does kind of surprise her. Her turning and talking about it, asking Deku if she thinks that this could be worth anything. Him turning and she's gonna throw it. Him catching it in his hand and inspecting the weapon. Uh, damn, this thing's in poor condition. I mean, it's usable, but if I can find another one, I might be able to, well, fix it. Seriously? I mean, yeah, I think this could sell for decent caps. I mean, pawn it off, we might be able to buy some stem packs. Seriously? Yeah, and that means we won't have to do too much. Though I can also pay the doctor with it. Let's get the stem packs first. I think Fixer would be cheaper. Maybe, but it'd be nice to just know I can not have these fucking headaches. Deku turning his head. Before... Huh? He has a stare off. Currently, him drawing his pistol and aiming out at somebody. And Marcy's at a turn. Her looking in the road and not seeing anybody. However, Izuku does see a man. And the man is just standing there. He's not doing anything. And Izuku, he's concerned. Before he has a blink, and the guy does go disappear. Him lowering his pistol as she's to ask him if he's alright. I think so. Let's head out to that doctor. Him gonna turn, quickly making his way down the road. And this does somewhat intrigue Marcy. No joke, no wisecrack. No anything. Okay. So head to a doctor and then maybe head to Prim. Start traveling that way. It'll be a bit of a journey, but they'll find leads. They'll find somebody. And that it is good. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.